lot of stuff going on with Neptune that's kind of like a hush-hush because that's the way Neptune is. It's like, you didn't see that. It was a magic trick, right? And it's very deceptive. So we have the sun that will be squaring Neptune, let alone that Mercury has already squared Neptune as a roundabout on the full moon. So we're having this like moon full of Neptune, but so on the 17th the sun will square Neptune, and then but we have a Mercury retrograde coming up in Capricorn. That Mercury, it stops on 8 degrees and it happens to really trine Jupiter. It's trining Jupiter now. It's a really good time to communicate something, even if it's square your planets like me. It could be just mean that it's kind of it's not comfortable to talk about it, but if you can talk about it, you might make a breakthrough. You know, not everybody's perfect, so anyway, but this, whatever you've been communicating about, it's going to give it this healing time is open during the retrograde. It just sits right on top of it, and then now it goes retrograde from 8 degrees back into from Capricorn. Then it goes back into late degree Sagittarius, which then um, Mercury goes backwards into Sagittarius. Mars is in Sagittarius. Sun passed up Mars, squares Neptune, but then Mars is going to Mercury is going to meet up with Mars on the 28th of December. Mercury conjunct Mars. You know, that just somebody with Mercury conjunct Mars. I imagine they have a sharp way of speaking. There might be a lot of speaking, especially in Sagittarius, these people. I mean, it's not a very clear, their minds might be a little bit harebrained. The Mercury in Sagittarius could be a bit too packed with information and egoic, right? Maybe. Sagittarius is hot like that anyway, fire. So then Mars conjunct in Sagittarius, that's Aries. So it's like Jupiter and Aries is getting together, well, Jupiter and Mars, and that kind of inflates. There's a big inflated, I mean, really, when you want to talk about Sagittarius, you want to talk about inflation of whatever is going on there, wherever it is. So Mars conjunct Saturn, I mean, sorry, Mercury. Mercury is going to conjunct Mars in the middle and say, okay, so when we're communicating something, it could be really good to keep working on this communication. And really, it's not to figure anything out but ourselves, our own inner, like, I'm sure it's a vigorous, okay, Mars hitting Mercury, Mercury hitting Mars in Sagittarius. It's like, let's look at our belief system and let's look at what we believe, and really it's just our minds. And I don't know about you, but okay, so, well, with Mercury, it does square my 369 and my ascendant, the Aries. The Aries has a little bit of an edge on it, even though they rule the head. They're very physical and it rules the head. Aries, it's kind of a secret, even though they're highly physical, they are worrywarts. You know, they get in their head a lot. And it's about that kind of mastering that and getting over it and taking a leap. And they're very well trained about that too. It's just, no, you don't get into the head, but they will get into the head. It's a lot of worry, and then that could be staggering. They're the first ones to tell you. And so, but Mercury meeting back with Mars, almost like kind of doing a headbutt, but no. If Mercury is well, Mercury was involved, and when it's doing its retrograde shadow now, now let's look at it. It's square when it hits Mars exactly at 24. It's 1 degree away from Neptune. Was it 24 degree? Now it's hitting 25, and it's going to be squaring Neptune on the 28th. It's an exact square to Neptune. And that's weird, like for the collective, you know, it's so confusing. It's like, well, it's a time of confusion. That's all I can say. It's just like, you know, you cannot explain this time except for be very careful of deception. You don't need to have a belief. You don't need to have a belief at all. See, you don't need to have a belief. You can feel this in the air right now, how that a lot of us, a lot of humanity is in the chrysalis. In the chrysalis, they were caterpillars, and they have just been slowed down, and they kind of eat, and then they just went to sleep, and now they're dissolving into an undefinable thing. That's what, like, if okay, it's Mercury retrograde. We already had Mercury square Neptune in retrograde shadow on the new moon or on the full moon, and there was something happening with Neptune on the last new moon too. And we're heading into a new moon on the 12th here. That is very auspicious, everybody. Everybody, you need to just kind of step into awareness instead of the place of unconsciousness. Like, try to understand that change is abound, and your very new self by the 12th, the new moon. See, there's it's kind of mildly squaring Neptune already, but it's not. It's at 19 degrees, and it's kind of what it's really doing is that it's definitely conjunct Mars again. For whatever reason, it's still conjunct Mars. It's a vigorous look and activity about our belief systems, our beliefs. The new moon kicks this off. We have what's really kicking off too. Okay, so we have Venus that is opposing Jupiter, and that's a little bit stressful. It's a question of what's valuable and what do we put our money on, really. Just bottom line, Venus and Virgo? Sorry, Venus and Scorpio. Venus and Scorpio is going to say, I'll tell you what you're going to put your money on, and it's like, yeah, of course, the Venus values, values, um, yeah, the venue, love. It's, that's the concern. You point at, it's not just pointing at women, it's pointing at the more sensitive side of us. It's like, well, what really is pleasurable is taking a lot of skill, and that's what's valuable. And it might be shifting more and more with the strain of Venus opposing Jupiter, which is like somebody's going to go extravagant here. Good for them. You know, it's not a bad thing, but see, we have because it's in opposition, it can go either way, and it's like, what, you need to step up and pamper each other, really. With this Mercury, as it's on the 12th here, the moon going new, and then one day after, Mercury goes retrograde, and this is while that it's doing a sweet trine to Jupiter, while Jupiter is squaring Venus over there. It's doing the most sweetest communications for everybody. See, not as easy for the cardinal signs right now with that. I mean, please accept that healing is possible through communications. Try to get past that you don't blame yourself or other people for anything. See, this is what Neptune, the Neptune square, is going to do. It's been doing for me. Oh, well, the Neptune, yeah, the opposition, just the influence of Neptune blurs everything. And it's like, wait a minute, how do you even think that you were responsible for any of the drama of life? Um, Not now. If rumor has it, rumor says that we have chosen our lives. We have looked at a plot and we agreed with God that this is the way it will work. Now, but by the time you're born here, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. That plan is yours, and it's hard to know if you can ever make a mistake, right? Because God's like, yep, that was part of the plan. And you'd be like, so you just cannot think that you have any control, but really, yeah, you have to have a daily, your life is it. You are allowing God in to take you over. More and more, that's what it's about, babes. I mean, people in the West don't have a sense of this, so that they're not advanced into being just what are we supposed to be. We're supposed to be I mean, really, we're just radiators, whether we know it, like it or not, whether we think we're supposed to be or not. We're just radiators, and it's important to be, isn't it important to be the radiator that is non-toxic? How about the radiator that, the kind of frequency that all you have to do is be there and the darn plants grow bigger and everything thrives around you, just a frequency, a certain higher vibrational frequency, like a beautiful song that just sits there and radiates. That takes a lot of practice, a lot of practice. Now, I flash into it takes a lot of hypnotizing yourself. Don't do the first compulsory suggestion that says, you need to stay lost to your ability to hypnotize your own self and get into that zone and just become a radiator of pure nonsense. Kids are going to love it.